Hey there, friends and enemies, JoPaWrites here again, and today I've got another Destiny 2 video for you guys. This one might have some unpopular opinions in it, but I had previously deleted my hunter for a streaming charity incentive and decided with the long wait until the final shape, now was the perfect time to make a new one, go through all the expansion campaigns, unlock all the subclasses and abilities to get ready for the final shape. And for me, the most surprising part was that Lightfall was the campaign that I personally enjoyed the most in a playthrough where I went through every campaign back to back to back to back, and that really caught me off guard. I felt like there were a lot of quality of life upgrades in Lightfall that are missed because you play the expansions a year apart from each other at a bare minimum, and you don't really get a feel the way the game changes in direct order like you would playing them in a row. And that really gave me a fresh perspective on how good the campaigns there are as a standalone, as well as how good the locations are that you're going back to for those expansions as well. And that's something that I found to be fascinating because Shadowkeep was the lowest ranking for me personally, and I would go in order essentially: Shadowkeep, and then Beyond Light next, and then the Witch Queen, which most people would have first, but I would have behind Lightfall personally, and then you have Lightfall. And I think there are a couple reasons for that. One, I do think Lightfall is overhated and underrated in many ways. There are a lot of improvements to it that I think people forget about. It does have the legendary version just like the Witch Queen. It is roughly the same length as Witch Queen. A lot of people seem to think Witch Queen is significantly longer, but I think that was not the case when I was playing through them in order. All of the expansions felt roughly the same length. The only difference to me was that Shadowkeep and Beyond Light had more filler, where you had to do other activities outside of the campaign mission, more so it felt like, than the actual missions like you had in the Witch Queen and Lightfall. And the other thing that I found personally is that Lightfall had more unique opportunities compared to the other ones. Like, I felt like and it's maybe because I've been playing for so long, Tormentors were much more unique than anything that the other three expansions threw at us. Having Strand was very interesting as you were unlocking it, especially because it was so much easier to ultimately get than Stasis. Stasis was a nightmare to unlock everything. It was really, really frustrating. And so those are some improvements that happened over the course of time, so you don't even think about them when you are playing the most recent expansion. And I do think a lot of people hold Lightfall to a higher level because it was the expansion before the final shape. Everyone is getting ready to end this 10-year Destiny saga, and people were expecting a different storyline. But for me, the tone was pretty fun overall. I did find it enjoyable. I don't dislike Nimbus like a lot of people. I think it's a pretty decent character overall, and a lot of people hate them for reasons that I don't feel like are game related. Yes, the character can be annoying, but so is a lot of other characters when we first met them in Destiny and didn't get the same level of backlash. I also feel like a lot of people didn't like the tone, and because we were seeing Callus again, that was a frustration. But I feel like the juxtaposition of that, having the Witch Queen who we were fighting going into Callus, was a nice change of pace. Like I said, when I'm doing them in order, I would definitely rate the bosses. I would put the Witch Queen over Callus personally, but I did feel like the final encounter was very, very interesting and a lot of fun, especially on Legendary version. So yeah, I get a little bit frustrated when this conversation comes up because a lot of people bring up arguments that don't make a lot of sense to me and don't put things into the right context. When you are playing the expansion, obviously, when you play it and the feelings you get while you are playing it obviously matter the most. But I also think because community sentiment had been down heading into Lightfall, had been down that summer before Lightfall dropped, and everyone was a bit frustrated and the game feels a little bit stale. I do understand some of the annoyances with that expansion, and I do think the major problem is that playing through all 4 of the campaigns, you can see they don't do anything different enough to overhaul the game from Shadowkeep to Lightfall, and that's the biggest problem. Yes, you get a legendary version, but we don't get any type of unique activity. You still get raids, you still get dungeons, you still get the same things coming in and out of every expansion, and I feel like lack of innovation has been the biggest holdback for Destiny 2, and then Lightfall more so than it just not being very good. Again, I think had Lightfall and Shadowkeep swapped places, and Lightfall had been the campaign that we got during that era, it would have been received much better. But because of the timing, because everybody was stale on the game and looking for something new and fresh, and unfortunately Lightfall provided some fun things, but it wasn't anything that was completely unique. It didn't completely change Destiny 2, and that's really where the struggle is and why it gets rated lower, in my personal opinion, than some of the other expansions. I do think the expansions are all good in their own right. I do think they're all fun in their own ways. And again, I encourage everybody, if you ever want to make a new character, yes, it can be annoying because you have to get all the gear, but you can put most of it into your vault and keep most of the things ready. You can throw on a 1810 weapon as soon as you generate a new character. But I encourage everybody to try it out and see if your opinion changes on the game and on the different expansions if you're playing them in an order that doesn't allow for these long gaps in between play sessions. You're essentially going from one to the next, to the next, to the next. And it'll give you a fresh perspective on how good the campaigns actually are and how much you annoy them, especially if you go in with an open mind and a clean slate and you don't have these preconceived notions of, oh, everybody hated Lightfall, so of course I'm going to hate it. There's no reason. But that's just my personal opinion. And I'm definitely a person who disagrees with the wider community at times. I find that because I don't play the game relentlessly, I play it in spurts when I'm enjoying it, when I'm having a good time. It gives me a different appreciation for the game overall, rather than a lot of people who will grind themselves until they hate the game, and then that's when they're going to get frustrated, give their feedback, but also end up not enjoying the content that they're playing. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I just wanted to make this video because I found it to be very, very fascinating, even though, like I said, a lot of people will probably disagree with me. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to see more Destiny 2 content, we're going to be in a little bit of a lull, but I'm still going to have new stuff for you guys for sure. My name is JoPa. Have a good one. I'll catch you all later.